my stream went down. Though, Ricky, like I haven't always been as fit as I am now. You know, it definitely has been a journey to get to where I am now, and definitely have some ways to go. But it's definitely worth doing if you got the time and energy to get in better shape. It's always something worth doing. But what what sort of physical like activity do you do, Ricky? Anything you enjoy? I find like that's the best place to start. Is something that you actually like doing. And for me, I like weightlifting. So there's always that. And not everyone likes weightlifting. So I think sometimes that's the hard part about uh, getting into it, or something that can be a deterrent, is if you don't really enjoy it. I would be very surprised if there was any guy that was, or girl that's super strong and like that hates weightlifting. It's just what you're good at, or what you enjoy. It's like the same thing with people that are super enthusiastic about chess. Doesn't memorizing a bunch of chess moves is not pleasurable to everyone. But some people love memorizing chess strategy. So I'm a little thrown off. I don't know if I did 5 sets or four because I couldn't remember if I wrote one down, which is irritating. It's the whole point of writing things. So I'm doubly irritated because I wrote it down and I don't know if I wrote it down twice or once. So I'm gonna have to check the recording later and see how many I did. But I'm gonna err on the side of possibility of messing up, and I'm gonna go ahead and do another set just for fun. All right, let's go. All right, so done with 50 pounds. Gonna go on down to 40 pounds. All right. Yeah, I've been really working on my YouTube uh, algorithm, trying to find stuff that's either funny or motivating or people having a good time, and trying to get my algorithm to give me more of that. And it's fun. I've managed to get into a lot more like funny cartoons and stuff that are out there that I hadn't seen before. And it's fun when you come across a cartoon like that one. I think like I said, I think it's called Natural Habitat, where someone's just been around for a long time. Like you look back and like, wow, you have like a whole stockpile of stuff, so you can just go through and watch funny content over and over again. There's no end to how much good wholesome stuff is on YouTube or online. And it's definitely a lot of fun when you can get away from the politics and negative stuff. So I do think that there's a place and a time to listen to political discussion and discourse, but a lot of what it's portrayed as, you know, political discussion and discourse is just not. It's just people being mean or nasty to each other, or one person that's well educated and schooled in argumentation just dominating the person that's not. And even if you're on their side, it's still I don't think that it's as great to watch and enjoy as you might think. I think the benefits to watching it is not that great. It's interesting that that kind of content has become so like so popular. And it's understandable because it's like it's entertaining sometimes and feels good to watch somebody be dumb because then you can feel so much better than them. But it's such a trap. And especially since like um I feel that you you may come across someone that doesn't know a lot about a particular subject, like when they do American history or European history or current events, and they stop someone randomly on the street who may or may not ever be comfortable talking to strangers, may or may not be comfortable or schooled in being on camera, and then you're asking them a question that they're not in the mindset to answer, so they either ramble or they don't know and they can't think of it, and then we're like, oh, look how dumb this person is. But if you sat them down, they would probably either know more about the subject in the right setting or know a lot about another subject that you don't know about, you know, and that has a lot more value. If you stop a guy that, he drives long haul trucks all the time and you like quiz him on something and he gets it wrong, you're like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Isn't that funny? It's like, well, no, dude, that guy's not an idiot. It's a very hard, very difficult job. And, you know, it's a lot more intelligent than you realize or think about just because you've never done it. You've never been a long haul truck driver. So no, you're wrong. You just ask him ask him questions that are relevant to his day to day life, and I bet you he knows information that you have just no idea about. So it's very very important for me to get away from that kind of material. Even things that are hard, like watching a politician you don't care for screwing up and being dumb, like that stuff can like pull you in, but I just don't think it's very gratifying overall or good for like the mental health overall to indulge too much into that. All right, this is the last time doing the 40s. 18.14 kilograms. I think it's incredibly important to find positive things that are uplifting, and even if they don't have to be like always like, I don't know, super emotional positive stories. You can just, by positive I mean like just things that make you laugh. Positive can be There's this couple that does videos online, where they're just doing dancing, and every time I see them, they're, you know, smiling and they're happy and they look like they're really enjoying what they're doing. And I think that's fun to see. You know, even videos that are like somebody is making a gizmo or doing something really cool with a 3D printer and they're passionate about it. You know, a lot of times you don't see them smiling because they're not in. A lot of times they're not actually seen on camera. All you see is their hands. But just watching them create something and be passionate about it and love what they're doing. Same thing with like artists. I like watching videos of people painting or sculpting or putting together random art and they're enthusiastic about it. Or where people find things in nature and they're out on hikes and stuff and are incredibly excited about what they see. My The best example about that, I was watching that video from, man, it had to have been like 2008 or 9. The double the double rainbow video. The guy's excited about singing double rainbow all the way across the sky. If you get a chance to find that video, it's old, but this guy's unbelievably stoked on finding a double rainbow and excited about it, and it's fun. It's fun to watch his excitement. And it's especially fun if you've ever like if you've ever been outside and you see something that's amazing and cool and then it just doesn't, you try to explain to somebody else that moment, and as you're explaining it you feel dumb because you're like, this doesn't sound as cool as it does, but I swear it was the coolest, shiniest rock I ever saw or something. And or, oh man, like the wind was blowing across this grassy field and it was so beautiful, like the way the wildflowers were, or something. Like as you explain it, you're like, this sounds dumb. I sound dumb. You know. So it's fun to watch somebody else having that moment and then trying to capture it and then possibly trying to explain why they were so excited about this double rainbow. That's the nice part about having kids is you can take them into nature with you and they can see the cool stuff that you're seeing. Like one thing that was super cool for me one time is I was out on the coast and walking along this cliff And I looked at this bush, and this bush, I was like, oh wow, there's like a caterpillar. And then I realized like, oh, there's like another caterpillar. And I was like, there's like 4 or 5. And then I realized like the whole bush was just crawling in all these caterpillars, like an unbelievable amount of caterpillars. And I was like, that is insane. And then as I kept walking, I noticed that every bush was covered in all of these caterpillars. And that was pretty amazing. I wish I had had time to go back and catch when they all came out of their cocoons, but it was super random and really cool to see. I'd just never seen that. Usually, I've only ever seen like a couple caterpillars here and there crawling around, but never just all over a bush and all over tons of bushes. I mean, it was a huge area. It was pretty impressive. All right, it's time to switch up the chest flies. The other cool one I saw in that same place, I was walking along the bottom of the cliff, and the tide was out or was going out, and I saw a starfish. And you see lots of starfish when you're at this particular point in the coast, but they're usually spread out. So I saw one, and then I saw another, and then another, and then I realized like there were hundreds of these starfish, and they were all on this like mussel bed, and were like eating the mussels, and I had never seen that many starfish before either. And it was pretty cool to see. Just and they were, it was because they were like actively eating. They were like all, instead of being flat and splayed, where you how you see most of them, they were just wrapped up all around these mussels, and like it was very cool. If you ever get a chance, you should go look at some videos of starfish eating, like what their mouths look like. It is a it is a trip to see. Almost as alarming as watching snails eat something. You watch a snail eat, and you're very glad that they're so small. There's this show, I don't even know if it's still on, but called 1,000 Ways to Die. And it's just like dumb ways that people ended up dying. And one of them was this guy wanted to impress this girl. And so he went and got some garden snails to make an escargot. And didn't really know what he was doing. Thought you could just cook any snails. And so he did. And then him and the girl ended up getting brain parasites and dying from that. And just, oh man, that is that is not the way I want to go. I definitely don't want to go into something very dumb. There's this one video on 1,000 Ways to Die where this guy, I think he'd been already a burn victim. I can't remember 100%, but he was in the hospital and he was covered in wrappings. And against his doctor's wishes and stuff, he snuck outside to smoke a cigarette and was in a wheelchair. And the door locked behind him. Nobody knew he was out there. And he dropped the cigarette on himself and lit himself on fire. I think his wheelchair went down the ramp, and I think he burned to death. That is a not fantastic way to die. I think I could skip that one. Of course, I've gotten very lucky to have not died doing stupid stuff that I've done. I've done my share of not brilliant moves. Whether it's been, like crashing my bike hard while riding like a bicycle, like doing dumb things, or like rock climbing, like climbing on cliffs without any sort of climbing gear and getting stuck. Not so brilliant times. I made some dumb decisions when climbing on cliffs, and I just would just keep going back and trying again and getting stuck again or doing the same dumb thing. But thankfully, thank God, I've like been able to make it out of it with help or just getting lucky. I've been like stuck on the face of a cliff where I'm so spread out that I like the wind's like picking up, and I feel like if the wind gets any stronger, it's just gonna rip me right off the cliff. And like that was a fun day. It would have been a 20-foot drop, and if the wind was pushing me and I managed to push off and jump back like I think like 3 feet, I would have just landed in sand because it was at a beach. But if I gone straight down, I would have landed on some not so fun jagged rocks. Um, There's one time, like when you climb down or climb at the cliffs where like I live, it looks like it's solid rock, like all the way up. And you can think like, okay, I can climb this all the way to the top of this cliff. And they're not like hard climbs; they're just kind of technical. And you think like this is gonna be easy, and then the top, like 6 feet, sometimes 10 feet of a cliff, um, is very soft, and it like starts to break apart, and you think you have handholds, and then they crumble, and um, you can end up in a bad spot. And I did that. The last time I did it was pretty bad because I had like two people with me, and we were climbing and having fun, and then we just got too high, and everything started to crumble. And then one girl that was with us, she started to fall, and thankfully I was able to like stop her fall. And then in order to get everyone down, I had to use my hands as their for their feet. So I would climb down a little bit, and then they would put their feet on my hands, and I'd have to hold them there, and then they grab another part, and then I climb, find them a foothold, and then climb down a little bit further, and then keep doing the same thing all the way down the face. So that was a fun time. Definitely was a rush. I think that might have been the last time that I went, and I think my health insurance went out after that. I had a good policy when I was younger, um, that I only really did crazy things when I had health insurance. The more health insurance I have, the more likely I am to do something that can get myself hurt, because I know like I'll be covered. If I don't have health insurance, I'm more cautious. If I had had the if I had had the health insurance that I have now when I was a kid, um, when my kid, I mean like when I was in my 20s or 30s, I would have been in a lot more accidents. Because now I have great insurance. If I like end up hurting myself and end up hospitalized, no matter how long I'm there, I don't have to pay for it. And I think ambulances are like $20 if I have to take an ambulance, and if I have to get airlifted, that's like either $20 or free. And if I'd had that when I was a kid, I would have been going nuts. But when you, like, I was doing manual labor when I was younger, and so my most important tool was my body, and I didn't always have health insurance, so I had to, one, make sure I didn't get hurt, or my health insurance would suck, and I knew like if I got hurt, it was going to be thousands and thousands of dollars that I was going to have to pay, and I didn't have thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for anything, so I was very cautious, a lot more cautious than I would have been otherwise. So bad health insurance possibly saved my life. It's the little things. It's the little things that make a big difference. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day, and God bless you.